American gunsmiths and small manufacturers who actually tried building their own version of a specific Soviet compact carbine ran into a problem no amount of careful machining could actually solve, a genuine engineering obstacle that revealed exactly how much specialized work had actually gone into a weapon most casual observers assumed was simply a standard rifle cut down to a shorter, more convenient length. They took a standard AK-74 barrel, cut it down to match the original Soviet weapon's own dramatically shortened length, and fired it. The bullets keyholed, tumbling sideways through the air rather than flying straight, accuracy falling apart completely within the first few shots. The specific engineering the Soviets had actually built into this weapon turned out to be considerably harder to replicate than simply shortening an existing barrel ever could be. This is the story of the AKS-74U, the compact Kalashnikov Osama bin Laden actually made globally recognizable, and the specific reason Western attempts to build a genuine equivalent kept running into problems Soviet engineers had already solved decades earlier. Every week we take apart the story stamped on the receiver of a firearm, the designers, the soldiers, and the decisions that built a legend or lost one. Subscribe if that is the kind of history you want more of. The actual origin of this entire compact weapon concept traces back even earlier than the formal 1971 Soviet request, to a considerably more experimental prototype called the AO-46, developed during the 1960s under lead designer Pyotr Tkachev, before the intermediate cartridge that would eventually become the 5.45 by 39 mm round had even actually been finalized. That earlier prototype featured a considerably unconventional overfolding stock design and a curved magazine specifically shaped to actually double as the weapon's own pistol grip, an experimental configuration considerably more radical than the eventual production AKS-74U ultimately adopted, and very few surviving examples of that same early Izhevsk-built prototype exist today, most having been lost or destroyed once the design's own more conventional eventual successor actually entered formal Soviet service instead. Soviet military planners actually issued their own initial request for a compact personal defense weapon in 1971, years before the AK-74 rifle itself, or its own 5.45 mm cartridge, had even actually entered formal Soviet service. That request sought something specifically for vehicle crews, artillery personnel, and rear echelon soldiers who actually needed a weapon considerably more compact than a standard rifle, while still retaining real automatic firepower a simple pistol could never actually provide. Design teams from Izhevsk, Tula, and Kovaro actually competed for the contract under the internal Soviet project name Modern, and the resulting weapon, formally adopted in 1979 and manufactured at the Tula Arms plant, became known in the West by the nickname Krinkov, a name whose own exact origin remains somewhat uncertain, but that stuck permanently among Western firearms enthusiasts and collectors regardless. Before we get into exactly what made this specific compact design so difficult to actually replicate correctly, if you are finding this useful, hit subscribe. It costs nothing and it helps the channel keep telling these stories. Here is the specific engineering problem Soviet designers actually had to solve, and the exact same problem that later defeated American builders attempting their own unofficial reproductions. Shortening the AK-74's own barrel down to just 206.5 millimeters, barely 8 inches, created two considerably serious technical problems simultaneously rather than simply making the weapon more compact for free. First, the standard AK-74's own barrel twist rate, already calibrated specifically for the considerably longer barrel length the cartridge had originally been designed around, could no longer actually stabilize the 5.45 mm projectile properly. Once fired from a barrel this dramatically shortened, the bullet leaving the muzzle without sufficient rotational spin to actually maintain stable flight. Soviet engineers solved that specific problem by tightening the rifling twist rate considerably from 1 turn in 200 millimeters down to 1 turn in just 160 millimeters, a considerably significant mechanical change that required an entirely different barrel specification rather than simply cutting down an existing standard length barrel and expecting comparable performance. The second problem proved equally serious and equally difficult to actually solve without specialized engineering. A barrel this short left considerably less distance for for the cartridge's own propellant to actually finish burning before the bullet exited the muzzle, meaning the gas-operated action lost much of the pressure it actually needed to reliably cycle the weapon's own bolt carrier group. Soviet designers solved that specific problem with a distinctive muzzle device functioning as a genuine expansion chamber, gas escaping the barrel actually continuing to burn and build pressure inside that same specialized chamber before venting, artificially restoring enough back pressure to actually keep the shortened weapon cycling reliably despite its own dramatically reduced barrel length. That same device, chrome-lined specifically to actually withstand the considerable heat and pressure it was now handling, doubled as a flash suppressor, though period accounts consistently note the shortened barrel still produced a considerably enormous muzzle flash and blast, regardless of how much the specialized device actually managed to reduce it. This is not a story about Soviet engineers simply making an existing rifle smaller through straightforward mechanical downsizing, since the specific combination of a considerably faster rifling twist and a purpose-built expansion chamber muzzle device represented genuine, non-obvious engineering work solving two interconnected physics problems simultaneously, rather than any simple parts substitution exercise. It is a story about how thoroughly a compact weapon's own apparent simplicity, a shorter barrel, a folding stock, nothing more dramatic than that, actually depended on specialized internal engineering, invisible to anyone simply looking at the finished weapon from the outside. Exactly the kind of hidden technical complexity that later tripped up American builders who assumed a shortened standard AK-74 barrel alone would actually produce a comparable, reliably functioning weapon. Shortening the weapon's own internal operating mechanism to actually match the reduced barrel length produced a further consequence beyond the two primary engineering problems already discussed. The gas piston and bolt carrier now traveling a considerably shorter physical distance during each firing cycle, which actually increased the weapon's own cyclic rate of fire to roughly 700 rounds per minute, noticeably faster than the standard AK-74's own comparable rate. That increased cyclic rate meant operators actually carrying the compact carbine experienced a noticeably different felt recoil impulse and trigger response compared against the standard rifle they may have already trained extensively on, a genuine handling difference beyond simple size and weight that meant transitioning between the two weapons required real, deliberate familiarization, rather than simply assuming identical handling characteristics scaled down proportionally with the weapon's own reduced physical dimensions. American attempts to actually build genuine Krinkov pattern firearms domestically ran directly into this exact documented problem. Gunsmiths and small manufacturers discovered that simply cutting down a standard AK-74 barrel to the correct external length produced a weapon that failed to actually stabilize its own projectiles. Bullets keyholed through paper targets at even modest distances, rather than punching clean, stable holes the way a properly functioning rifle barrel should. Building a genuine, correctly functioning Krinkov replica actually required sourcing or manufacturing a barrel with a specific accelerated twist rate Soviet engineers had originally specified. This was a considerably more involved undertaking than simply shortening readily available standard AK-74 barrel stock. That meant authentic, properly functioning Krinkov pattern rifles remained considerably rarer and considerably more difficult to actually produce domestically than casual observers, assuming a simple barrel cutting exercise, might have otherwise expected. The weapon's own actual combat history extended well beyond its own original intended role, equipping vehicle crews and rear echelon personnel, Soviet special forces and airborne units actually adopting the AKS-74U extensively during the Soviet war in Afghanistan throughout the 1980s, valuing its own compact size specifically for exactly the kind of confined vehicle interiors, close quarters building clearing, and covert operations where a standard length rifle proved considerably more cumbersome to actually maneuver. That same Afghan conflict eventually connected the weapon directly to the figure who would later make it globally recognizable to an entirely different generation of observers. Osama bin Laden actually appeared holding an AKS-74U in numerous photographs and video recordings released throughout the 1990s and 2000s, the compact rifle becoming so closely associated with his own public image that the weapon itself achieved a level of unwanted global recognition Few firearms designs, however considerably significant their own actual military history, ever actually received through purely coincidental media association. Bin Laden had likely acquired his own example or examples through the same channels that had already distributed considerable quantities of Soviet weaponry to Afghan Mujahideen forces and their own foreign volunteers throughout the 1980s Soviet-Afghan War, the weapon changing hands from its own original Soviet military context into the hands of the exact insurgent movement it had originally been deployed against, before eventually becoming permanently associated with considerably more infamous purposes entirely disconnected from its own original Cold War military design brief. The specific propaganda significance behind bin Laden's own repeated choice to actually appear on camera with this exact weapon deserves closer examination as well, since Al-Qaeda's own video production teams clearly understood the considerable symbolic value a captured Soviet weapon actually carried within their own broader narrative framework, presenting bin Laden armed with a rifle originally taken from the same Soviet military that Afghan Mujahideen forces had already defeated during the 1980s, allowed Al-Qaeda's own propaganda apparatus to actually position their own movement as inheritors of that earlier victory against a superpower, the compact rifle itself functioning as a genuine visual shorthand for that broader narrative claim, regardless of whether ordinary viewers watching the resulting footage actually understood the specific weapon's own considerable technical history or its own originally narrow Soviet military design purpose. This is not a story about a single weapon simply becoming famous through pure chance association alone, since the compact size and genuine reliability of the AKS-74U under harsh field conditions made it a practical, sensible choice for exactly the kind of irregular, mobile combat role Afghan fighters and later insurgent forces actually needed a weapon to fulfill, regardless of whatever considerably darker cultural association the weapon eventually accumulated through its own most infamous individual user. It is a story about how thoroughly a piece of specialized Cold War engineering designed to solve a narrow, specific Soviet military requirement for vehicle crews and rear echelon troops ended up shaping public perception of an entire weapons category through a single individual's own repeated, well-documented public appearances carrying it. Western military forces actually encountered, and in several documented cases, directly used captured examples themselves. American Special Operations units, including elements of Delta Force and Naval Special Warfare, reportedly employing captured AKS-74U rifles during specific operations where carrying a recognizably American weapon carried genuine operational disadvantages, exactly the kind of deniability consideration this channel has already documented, shaping several other American Special Operations equipment choices across multiple separate conflicts. That documented American operational use meant the weapon achieved a considerably unusual status. Originally designed exclusively for Soviet military use, later closely associated with the exact adversary American forces would eventually spend decades fighting and periodically employed directly by American Special Operations personnel themselves whenever specific mission requirements actually called for exactly the kind of compact, reliable automatic weapon Soviet engineers had originally built the design to provide. The considerable modern American commercial interest in genuine Krinkov pattern firearms deserves final attention as well, since the specific documented difficulty American builders actually encountered attempting to correctly replicate the design has somewhat counterintuitively only increased collector and enthusiast interest in the platform rather than discouraging it. Specialized American manufacturers eventually did successfully solve the twist rate and expansion chamber engineering challenges Soviet designers had originally worked out decades earlier, producing correctly functioning semi-automatic Krinkov pattern rifles for the American civilian market, specifically built around barrels manufactured to the correct accelerated twist specification rather than simply shortened standard AK-74 stock. That specific commercial success, arriving only after considerable trial and error, already documented within American gunsmithing and small manufacturer circles, meant the compact Soviet design's own underlying engineering complexity ultimately became part of its own American commercial appeal. Collectors and enthusiasts, specifically valuing correctly built examples, precisely because getting the platform right required actually understanding and correctly implementing the same specialized engineering Soviet designers had originally solved for an entirely different military purpose more than 4 decades earlier. Production of the original AKS-74U continued in Russia until 1993, eventually replaced in frontline Russian service by the AK-105, a broadly comparable compact carbine built around updated manufacturing techniques while retaining the same basic 5.45mm chambering and generally similar compact operational role the original Krinkov had already established. Bulgaria manufactured its own licensed version of the design as well, and the weapon continued spreading through the same broader pattern of Soviet client-state distribution. This channel has already documented shaping several other Kalashnikov pattern weapons across multiple separate decades, examples still occasionally surfacing among insurgent groups and irregular forces in regions where Soviet military assistance had once flowed freely during the Cold War's own final decades. If you want more stories about the weapons harder to actually copy than they first appear, subscribe, and we will keep finding them for you. See you in the next one.